Marketing Edge on TV, promoting the bright idea.
Thank you for joining Industry Conversation. My guest today is the managing partner at Zenera Consulting, Mr. Meka Olowola. Glad to have you join us on the program, sir.
It's glad to be here, Bukola.
Thank you very much. Okay, so I wanted us to start about your assessment about, the brand management ecosystem in Nigeria. How would you assess or how would you describe that sector?
I think the brand marketing ecosystem has gone through significant evolution over the last 3 decades, at least that I've been actively observing the ecosystem. So we've seen evolution from traditional advertising focus to today that we're talking mostly digital. We've always seen a number of divestments from the industry. We've seen a number of players exit, especially international players exit as competency was developed, homegrown competency was developed significantly over the years, right? And we've seen movements around advertising spend move from traditional media to more digital platforms now, and we've seen the incursion of cable television, right, over the last at least 10-15 years. There's been significant, strides in taking over some of the spends that we traditionally have seen, and we've seen after COVID, COVID has significant impact also, apart from the natural evolution that we observed. COVID brought a bit of shock into the system because you see less people handle newspapers, for example, right? People evolved to alternative options, veritable options of getting their news and stuff like that. So it's been interesting in the last 10 years, to say the least.
Great. So what are the challenges that you can describe, or what challenges would you say plague the industry in particular?
I think, like many other sectors or industries, some of the points that I'll make will be multi-sectorial. But by and large, we've seen paucity of talents. It's a challenge getting, talent to replace retiring geniuses or people who have moved out of the country for so many reasons. Replacing them with talent and people who are very strong have been very challenging. Again, because there are schools available to develop professionals, but I think compared to the size of the industry and the number of players, we are not catching up effectively with manpower development, or manpower capacity development as we should, as should be desired in a highly sophisticated environment like ours. There's also the challenge of understanding consumer preferences. Getting consumer insights has always been a challenge because of the paucity of data, right? We don't have enough data analytics going on that we would really deliver on optimal service delivery and also to be more scientific in the way that we empirically interpret data and apply it to communication or apply it to brand management to develop the equity that these brands require to excel, right? So there are a few research houses, of course, but you're dealing with about 230 million people with various psychographics, idiosyncrasies, and mannerisms, right? So you want to be able to get your geographics right, you want to get your psychographics right, you want to be able to push your advertising spend in a way that exponentially we deliver return on investments.
Okay.
And over the years, we've seen that not happening the way that we love, or the way that we could, if you compare more sophisticated environments or climate, you will see that they have gone a bit further. So we're making steps, but we haven't really gotten to where we would say is El Dorado.
Awesome. So in light of all those challenges, I know there's also the economic hardship. Now, would you say there are potentials for professionals and investors and players in the industry? Would you say that there are potentials for them to latch on in order to achieve the right business growth and profitability that one would really want to see?
Yeah, definitely. So put it this way, Bukola, the industry, and I think that is one of the pivotal challenges that I should have also mentioned, is a specific macroeconomic environment that we operate within. So our industry is not immune from the challenges that everyday Nigerian is facing, right? So there's hyperinflation right now in the land. The last we saw in July, it was 33.4%. That's huge, and I'm sure that's a bit conservative compared to how much we were buying a loaf of bread, say 3, 4, 5 years ago, and now, right? So when you have all of that, and then you have shrinking economic capacity, right? Consumer spending power is going down. You have hyperinflation. You have the dynamics of the foreign exchange, vagaries up and down, and inability to predict it for business decision purposes. When you just approach all of that together, you would see that it's a highly challenged environment that we're operating in. And unfortunately, many brand managers, or maybe not brand managers, but many businesses think that one of the ways to curtail or to save money in such challenging times would be to rein in advertising spend or communication spend. Research has shown that that is faulty thinking, right? Because you never stop communicating, you never stop engaging with your consumers or with your market as a whole. And the companies who fail to understand this usually pay in the long run, right? So coming back, directly to your question about if there are potential, yes, absolutely, right? If you look at the value chain, you will see across board there's enormous potential, right? With the exciting things happening around data, exciting things happening around, let's say, digital, for example, right? There's so many things, there are so many derivatives that we can come up with as industry, to create new ecosystems, right? And new value chains that will affect positively everyone who will bring on board, either new players or even the existing ones, right? So it's just for us to be a bit more innovative. I know quite a number of houses are doing exciting things already, and they're spinning off into specific areas, right? And innovating new service levels. But there's still room for us to do more and to galvanize the system in such a way that we will generate fresh revenue streams, right? There are so many things happening that are very applaudable, but they're happening outside and they're not coordinated, right? Especially in the digital space, right? So you hear things, when you go to social commerce, you see a lot of things happening, a lot of movement, right? McKinsey says we're going to close the year with about $377 million, right, in digital spend in Nigeria alone, right? That's a lot of money. But where is that going? Are we tracking it? What percentage of that is coming into the organized sector? We don't know. It's all out in there.
Marketing Edge on TV, promoting the bright idea.
Welcome back to Industry Conversation. We have been speaking with the managing partner at General Consulting, Mr. Meka Olowola. So let's talk about your firm,
yes.
General Consulting.
Okay.
I know that recently you hit a milestone age. Now, what would you say has been the strength for your growth? You know, more like the strength behind your growth of the agency or the firm.
All right. People have been the bedrock of our success. God Almighty, first and foremost, and then the people that we've been blessed with at the agency. You know, so we have at least 2 individuals who have been with us since inception. You know, and it helps also for longevity when you have people who understand the culture, who understand, you know, the clients, understand, you know, the history, and being able to come up with that resilience that we've been able to exhibit over the years. Our clients also, we've been fortunate with the set of clients that we have in terms of partnership. We see our clients as partners and not just people that we have to serve to make ends meet, and that has really impacted on the way they perceive us, also the service that we provide and the support that we give to them. So we have all our clients from inception still existing, except those who have either moved out of the country or have changed lines of businesses, right? So we've been very fortunate in that regard as well. One of the things that we set out to do from inception was to evolve a service delivery methodology that is able to service not just the local terrain, but international as well. So when I was in paid employment, I noticed that as we got more sophisticated and more aggressive in our international forays, we needed to retain the services of advisors, consultants, and agencies in those markets. We listed in the Johannesburg Stock Exchange. From there, we went to London. We had conversations with the New York Stock Exchange. We listed in the TSX in Canada. You know, there were a lot of, you know, those international exports of our services and products, right? Okay. But every time we went to those locations, we realized that we didn't have the robustness that we needed from our support system to be able to deliver on a world-class scale, right? And we said, when we're coming to form General Consulting, we will make sure that we fill that gap, right? And so that's what we've done from the get-go. We said we are going to provide world-class services, right from the outset. And we've been able to do that to our clients. So many of our clients don't see the need to retain the services of multiple agencies when they go out, right? To either raise money for different stock exchanges or different markets, right? Or use any instrument. So that has been instrumental to the success that we've been engraced with. Still
talking about General, now, yes. What should the industry expect from you, from General, not you directly, yeah, but you know, from the agency General in the next 5-10 years?
So there's we're deepening our strategy offering, management consulting, and this is one of the evolutions that I mentioned earlier on, right? Okay. That organizations need to embrace, right, to continue to stay relevant. Right now, the industry is such that brands or clients are no longer looking for advertising agency or media buying agency or digital media agency or PR agencies. They're looking for partners. They're looking for, you know, management consultants. They're looking at people who we offer them expert advice on other areas other than communication, right? Okay. You need to go in and start to outperform expectation. You need to go in and start to have conversations around what is impacting on the business as a whole, right? Sometimes it's not advertising or communication as a whole, whether it's PR or digital, that will fix some of the problems that they have, right? Okay. So we've seen increasingly that we are sitting with clients on the table and we are x-raying their processes, dimensioning the issues that they're facing, and seeing that it's not necessarily one that will be fixed by advertising or by marketing, by increasing your marketing spend. Sometimes those issues are very insidious, right? And you need to examine them carefully to even unearth what the problems are. And sometimes it's just how is your governance structure positioned to be able to cater for you in the next growth phase, right? Are you prepared to handle effectively the changes in the market? Are you positioned, right, for succession? How you plan for, to change your board if anything happens in the peradventure, right, and eventuality occurs? How are you prepared to be able to move on very swiftly, right? These are not conversations that typically happen when you're discussing advertising campaigns or marketing campaigns, right? But increasingly, we're bringing all of those conversations to bear. So we will be partnering a lot more with agents, with clients in that direction. We will also go more international, right? After 11 years operating here, we're looking at international markets as well to be able to upskill, right, our own competencies, be able to, deepen our own exposure. When I say ours, our talent in-house, give them international exposure, and also be able to attract revenues, right, that are based in foreign currencies.
Now, what is one indelible lesson that you would say that the industry has taught you in the course of your career trajectory?
Without thinking very hard, is adaptability. To be able to evolve, to be able to have the resilience that you need, right, to continue to thrive in every situation. Yeah, so we've seen a lot, but I would encapsulate everything in adaptability. You must be able to adapt. And it's not just in our own industry. Anywhere you find yourself in, where is the industry going, and how am I positioned to evolve with it, or even outperform it?
Just before I let you go, what would you say is your favorite industry mantra?
I think is evolve or die.
Again? Is this still this evolution thing?
Yeah, yes.
Okay.
Because, and if you look at it again, without going into my background, right? Species all over the universe have had to evolve, or they will go extinct. Do you understand? So there's a lot of changes that happen in the biological ecosystem that species have to be resilient about. They have to evolve, right? So there will be natural occurrences, there will be flooding, there will be earthquakes, there will be fires, there will be all sorts of, natural occurrences that will actually force the adaptability on species. And if they don't, they'll cease to exist. So we have a number of, species that we knew before, right, that we read about in history books that don't exist even within the last 1,000 years, for example. It's the same thing with professionalism, right? It's the same thing with whatever industry that you're participating in. You must be able to learn, understand the times, read the clients, read the climate, and know that these are the things that you need to do to self-develop, right? To have a growth mindset, to continue to evolve, to continue to read, to continue to, enhance your capacity to deliver, right? Capacity to understand, So it takes even a discerning spirit to be able to even know that these are the things that are likely to happen, that I need to be prepared for. Do you understand? Because you can't prepare for what you don't even know it's coming, right? So all of that is very important for everyone to get on board. And you know, I don't care what you're doing right now. You need to evolve
or you die.
We'll be reading your obituary.
That's a very hard one. All right, it's been an absolute joy speaking with you on the program. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Olowola.
Thank
Pleasure
you.
is mine.
All right, great. And so you have heard it. You either evolve or you die. Why? Because we don't know where the industry is going, and you need to be prepared in order to outperform it. And that's how much we can take on this week's episode of Marketing Edge on TV. Join us same time for another informative episode. I'm Olowola Omoni. Bye for now.